had the win on Euro Yen yesterday. And then the two trades I had on my radar, which were the pound yen and the dollar Canada, both went rolling without me. Dollar Canada came just shy. For me, I missed by, I think, like 4 or 5 pips for the bear bat. And pound yen, you guys know I tried to enter a trade on Tuesday. I actually did physically enter it. And then I realized the risk reward was also, I had to cancel it. And I was waiting for a bear bat on that as well. And that didn't quite get up there too before rolling over. So it was a day of near misses, which of course in slower markets, 2 missed trades seems like 1,000 missed trades. Yeah, we could get the cipher. I'm not as excited about the cipher as the as the bat though. I really like the short position on that trade. I'm not too excited at all about going long. The trade is a trade, so it doesn't matter. But I would much rather be in the short position than the long position. But you never know. Those are the type of trades that win. So not a lot on the news radar for today. We do have some unemployment claims coming out at 8:30 for the dollar. So a relatively slow news day. I don't think much is on the board for tomorrow either. Core retail sales. Oh, we got Carney speaking tomorrow on a Friday. That's a little bit weird. Due to speak at the Women in Banking and Finance Awards of Achievement Lunch. Audience questions expected. I don't think that's going to be as big as it seems. So not a lot of action today. Is there any place you guys would like to get started? If not, I have about 3 pairs that are on my watch list. Aussie Canada was another one that didn't quite get the double bottom on the 4-hour. You can see in front of you. But that was another one that was a near miss, which ended up being a good near miss, I suppose, since it blew through. Avery says pound dollar. Sure, let's get started on the cable. Let's get started on the cable. Anything specific you're looking at, Avery? Just so I know if there's any specific questions that I should address for you. All right, so pound dollar. It was this bull cipher on the hourly. X at 126.53. We could check it out. Not going to be one for me, but we'll certainly check it out. So I'll go through kind of the higher time frame stuff a little bit quicker. But higher time frame here on the daily. Not too much happening here. We still have that head and shoulders type of formation, that reversal type of formation. As we've been looking at for the last week or so. But remember, we have this long wick here, which really kind of hurts our potential target area. So we're really just going into consolidation here with the pound dollar until we get a significant break one way or the other. There's not much of a read here on the 4-hour. Or on the daily, excuse me. We go down to the 4-hour, we get a little bit of a better idea of that consolidation. You can see we're literally bracketed between a level of support and resistance. We're going up, hitting resistance, going down, hitting support. Going up, hitting resistance, going down, hitting support. We have gone down to retest our previous level of support right here. So perhaps, if anything, you can look for a buying opportunity at this level, perhaps on a lower time frame. This little consolidation is going to make things a little bit weird. But that's if you are a support and resistance trader, you can look at this as a potential buying opportunity. Ale is looking at a bull bat as well. Potential bull bat here on the 4-hour. I can draw that in for you. Our swing low to swing high would be like that. X to A to B, B to C. And he's looking at a potential CD completion down there. So if price action were to fall and rally, were to break past this previous level of structure support and go down to this decompletion at 125.82. If you view this as a bat pattern, you can look at this as a bullish bat as well. Now, going down to the 60, going down to the 60. Nick says you can also play the downside break. Yeah, you could. Going back to the 4 hour real quick. Yeah, if we were to break this level right here, you can play the downside break, the level of 126.54. The tough question is, Nick, where are we likely to go to? So that's going to be the difficult part, in my opinion. If we break this level, where is the next level we're likely to go to? Can we anticipate a move all the way down to our lows down here, around 125.70s? Or do we need to pay attention to this low, these lows, these lows? That's going to be the question that we're going to have to address with a downside move. For me, there's really no clean area for taking targets. If we do break this first line, I would be concerned about breaking the second line. If we break the second line, I'd be concerned about breaking really this third line. So maybe on a lower time frame, maybe on a from a day trading perspective, there's enough pip potential in here. What's this? 126.55, 126.40s. Maybe you get a break below. Yeah, the hard part would be if you break this level, you're most likely already going to test this level. And if you break this level, you're most likely going to test these levels. So for me, it would be a situation where it's like as soon as we get the break, the move that I would predict would have already been made, which makes me no longer interested in the next move. Does that make sense, guys? So yeah, it's certainly doable. Just from my perspective and how I would view it as a trader, I just don't see the availability of profit or a trade potential there. Yo, Akio, got my buddy Dave to sign up for tier 1 for a half Annie. Nice. I appreciate it. New tier 1 members to come in for you guys to mentor. and grow your skill. It's really cool how the process works because many of you guys are, we had this conversation the other day. You retain 90% of what you learn by teaching to others. So by bringing in newer traders, it gives you guys the opportunity to teach. When you guys get the opportunity to teach, you learn even more. And for you guys that are planning on going into education, Chris Mills was like that. It just gives you an opportunity to practice your craft over and over and over again. And then the cycle repeats itself. Then Dave becomes a consistently profitable trader. And he starts schooling the new traders that come in. Pretty cool. All my mates are broke. You gotta get some new friends. All my mates are broke, even more than me. So I suggest them to your YouTube channel. Hey, yeah, that's a good suggestion. I mean, look. Tell them to watch the YouTube channel. Tell them to listen to the podcast. Make sure they rate and review. Tell them to take the free stuff we offer on the website, the Ascension course and whatnot. Now I'm just to get a side job. Yeah, I was listening. I typed it in the chat, and we'll get to the cipher in a little bit. I promise. Well, let's get to the cipher first, and just in case you guys want to enter, and then I'll talk about it. But looking at the pound dollar 60 minute. And let me know, I think it was, I forgot who, Avery. Let me know if this is what you're looking at for a potential cipher. Swing low right here down at 126.53. X to A to B, B to C, and a CD completion right there. Yep. So if you see this as a cipher, valid cipher, you're getting it did rally back up. So you're getting about the same entry. 126.76 was the entry. We're trading at 126.77. My question would be, is that really an impulse leg though? Do you see that as an impulse leg, or did secretly you want to create a reason for there to be a cipher? That would be my question. Which like when you looked at this, was this initially an X to A that stood out to you, and you said, "Oh man, this is an X to A. This could be a start of a pattern formation," or did you kind of see the cipher first and work backwards and use that X to A because it worked? And that's an issue that many of us run into. And an easy way to, maybe not an easy way, but one of the ways to kind of answer that question, because it's hard, because we do stuff and we don't actually know what we're doing. So we can say that, hey, this is an impulse leg, even if it really wasn't, because we want it to be one. So I always say go back and measure out the swings in the market. And when you measure out the swings, ask yourself, would you measure it out like this? Would you measure it out like this? Or whatever other way you would measure it out. Some of you would just measure this out like that as well. And you ask yourself, if I'm just doing basic price action and trend analysis, and I'm drawing out my ebbs and flows as we encourage you to do in the foundation course, how would I measure it? Because we want to take those same moves that we measure and we want to make those the moves of our pattern formation. So if we're seeing this as a swing high to swing low, right, this should be our X to A. If we're seeing this blue one as a swing, then this should be our first retracement. However, if we're ignoring this move right here and we're seeing this swing high to swing low, or excuse me, swing low to swing high, then yes, that is a valid leg. So that's the question. And I know for me personally, I would see it as the blue, not the pink. I don't think we could ignore the fact that we came up to a 382, I believe. That we came into a 382, almost a 50%, retraced down to another 50%, and then rallied up. For my eyes, I just can't ignore that move. I can ignore smaller moves. You know, we see something like this. You know, some people will look at that. I think you can definitely, and again, this is all about training your eyes. I think you can definitely ignore some of those and see that the overall move is here. Very hard for me to say that this is a single swing, because there is a blatant retracement in here. And in fact, I would say this retracement, I mean, if we just take the length of it, this retracement stands out more than this retracement for me. So it's not going to be one that I would see, but that's a way you can kind of test to see if you're seeing it correctly. Because again, many of us will do it and we won't know it. Many of us will look at something and we'll be like, you'll have cipher on the mind because maybe you're back testing it for hours. And so you go into the market and you've already predetermined that I want to find the cipher, and you see kind of the rest of the formation and you see that it's at the 786. And then without knowing it, you work backwards and you're like, okay, that doesn't work. But wait a minute, if I took this to this, that would work. And we kind of mold it to make it fit. I mean, we just don't want to do that. So that's something I always do. Obviously, my philosophy is when in doubt, stay out. But I'll always try to look for the natural swings first. I don't look for patterns. I measure out what the market is doing. And then if the natural swings obviously meet the guidelines and rules for a pattern formation, and all of the lines connect, then I know I have a pattern that's on my radar. Real quick. Avery says, it is an impulse leg for me. Ale says, I do have a side job. Gnome. I sell oxygen to humans in little bottles. I was thinking about doing that. I was thinking about getting some bottles. You know, people are like, I have air from Mount Everest. I was just thinking about getting air from outside and just writing that it was from Mount Everest and scamming everyone. They'd never know the difference. Unless you have a really good palate for oxygen. Nick says, you can get with this or you can get with that. You can get with this or you can get with that. Naomi says, I didn't mean directly at you. I just meant in generally. People make excuses because they can't afford stuff. And it's like you can't afford that 70-pound lipstick. Ooh, man. Golly, that how much lipstick costs? Glad I gave up that habit. Elle says, I know what you meant. I just love the sarcasm, blah, blah, blah. I had the same problem recognizing patterns. It's easier to spot X to A legs when you read price from left to right. Humans live in bottles, blah, blah, blah. Watching TV. Biatch. Dehydrated people. Okay, this is getting out of hand. Nothing today, just an L. More dehydrated water. Okay. No one cares about the actual lesson I did. Come on, this was a good lesson on how to make sure you're not seeing the wrong things. And you guys are talking about selling air and whatever. You guys are the worst. Man, I was really proud of that lesson, OG. Really proud. This is the solution you've been waiting for. Anyway, so here's how you get the oxygen. All right. I see. Can you do it again? F you. No, I'm not doing it again. But speaking of which, about the conversation earlier before we got into selling water and stuff like that. I used to sell pencils and I used to sell pencils in middle school. That's how I made a quick buck. But I was listening to this Gary V video this morning. I shot it over to the chat. And you guys know I'm a big Gary V fan. I've been slacking a little bit just because life has gotten busy. But I used to try and listen to one of his videos, his daily V's, every morning as a bit of an inspiration. And he was just talking about excuses that people make. And it's so true. People make so many excuses, and he was giving a few examples where it's like, hey, I can't do this because the cost of living in New York is too high. And he was like, all right, move somewhere else. And it's so true. Like there is I've always said this before. We spend the same amount of energy creating excuses as we do creating solutions. People don't realize that. It takes a lot of mental energy to create an excuse, right? Let me ask you guys this question, right? Have you ever supposed to, I guess, have been supposed to do something and you really don't want to do it? Maybe it's like a date or like someplace you have to go to and you really don't want to do it. And you spend like a lot of mental energy thinking of that excuse for why you can't. You're like, okay, what can I say? Can I say I'm sick? Or if I say I'm sick, no, they may come over and check on me. Okay, if I say my car broke down, they would believe that, but then like they'll say, well, you got 2 cars in the house, okay. All right, if I break my arm, if I break my leg, okay, right? You spend all this energy and time creating excuses, right? The perfect excuse to get you out of a situation, right? What if you just took that energy and time and used that to create a solution, right? Oh, I'm living in New York. Price of living is way too high in New York. I can't afford to do that because I can't pay rent. I can't do that and blah, 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 blah. All right, move to Jersey. Here you go. Move to Jersey. Cost of living is cheaper. Problem solved. Oh, I can't open this type of store because my store my product directly relates to this type of demographic, and this type of demographic just isn't around where I'm located at. Okay, well, move to where that demographic is at. Right? Don't set up if you want to sell snowboards, right? Don't set up shop in Miami, Florida. Go move to Colorado. Right? It's not that hard. Right, so there's always a solution, and I did a few podcast episodes on this, but money is there for the making. It's not hard to make money. Like if anyone tells you it's hard to make money, it's that's a joke. It is very easy to make money. Now, is it hard to make money in an enjoyable way, a way that you enjoy? Yeah, I mean, unless you're living your perfect life and doing your dream job, then yeah, you're probably not going to enjoy every aspect of what it takes to get your check, but that's the sacrifice that you need to make to do your dream job, right? The whole point is putting yourself in a position where, it's not necessarily about making the most money possible. It's about putting yourself in a position where you're happy. Putting yourself in a position where you're happy with life, you feel satisfied, you provide value, and obviously, happiness, enough money so you can live comes with happiness, but that should be the goal, right? So invest time, invest effort, sacrifice yourself, right? Spend 5 years doing something you don't like so you can spend the next 35 years doing something you do like, right? That's a pretty decent risk reward in my opinion. Shoot, I will risk 5 years for blah, 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 right? People go to school, right? 4 years. Why do you go to school? To get a job, right? So you've invested 4 years in a lot of debt going to school so that you can ideally get the job that you want to do when you get out of school, right? It's the same. That's an investment in itself. It's the same thing. A lot of people go to college just for the hell of it. That's what, a rack up debt for no good reason. No, because you plan on doing something later and you need that degree to do it. Now, yeah, there are a lot of people that just go to college for the heck of it, or just because it's the thing to do. And that's kind of a societal thing where we got locked into thinking that you have to go to college. And that's changing. I think even a lot of values are changing over time. A lot of kind of the old, what you're supposed to do has changed. And that changes as generations change, right? I mean, look at a lot of the older generations, right? It was, a lot of them didn't have the opportunity to go to college. So when college became available for everyone, it was the next step. Because back then it was, you after kind of just like working for the family business, it became, hey, I want to get this job. You go to college and you become a productive member of the working force. So that mindset was carried on to the next generation. Like college wasn't an option for me. It was like, that's just what you do. You go to college after you're done high school. And things are changing now. We're now kind of in a much bigger entrepreneurial stage. A lot of entrepreneurs out there. But we're in a much bigger entrepreneurial stage right now where college is no longer a must. And that has to do with the pricing of college too. It's overpriced itself, which is ridiculous. I don't understand how you can continue to raise prices when there's less demand for your product. That just doesn't make any sense. Colleges are literally pricing themselves out of the market, but that has changed. College is no longer that have-to destination. For some people, it is. If you want to be a doctor or something of that sort, scientist, you still need to go, or a teacher, I suppose, as well. But for your average person, you don't necessarily have to go. So it's interesting. I'm getting a whole rant about college. I work at a college, so I see the differences on how much I see the differences in what they're doing, and they're stabbing themselves in the foot. But colleges are a business, just not a very good run business. My cousin been in college for 12 years, and she says she wants to be a stay-at-home mom. Yeah, she probably should have thought about that earlier, man. Gosh, not. Shoot, I feel sorry for the husband, man. Pay off all that debt. Nothing wrong with stay-at-home moms. Again, shoot, that is. I would never want to do that job. But 12 years in college to decide that, man, you'd think you'd have some type of super degree by then. You'd think you'd be some type of, you'd have multiple PhDs for 12 years. Nick says they go to college to get a degree. Interpretive dance degrees, rack up $100K in debt. Criminal that they allow loans to pay for that. Loans are a business in itself, right? Jobs are so competitive now that degree is literally just a tick box. It's just expected for corporate jobs. YouTube has locked my account for some reason. See, here's the thing, right? For some jobs, like, honestly, your degree doesn't even matter. And I don't know if it's the same way overseas, but for many jobs, unless it's very specific, your degree really doesn't. Your grades, they don't matter as much as people think. A lot of times you can have a degree in anything, and as long as you have that, you graduated college, it's fine. Yeah. But as a business owner, I would care less if someone I hired had a degree or not. I'd be more impressed in the interview process. But I can understand how you never make it to the interview process if you don't necessarily have that degree. Nah, she's dumb. Why would you be there 12 years? Just a nurse. It's not normally 12 years, Naomi. She's taking her time. Yeah, she's taking her time. Nick says, yeah, my first corporate job just wanted to BS or B. And yeah, that's how my dad was. Literally just show me you graduated. Just because my boss needs to see that you actually went to college. Just show me you graduated. And it's like he works for the housing department in Philadelphia, and he has a degree in like, I don't even know what his degree is at, like art or something like that. I don't think it's art, but something that's unrelated. Yep. Now again, you want to go on to. I have a few students that I taught that they've gone on to be like scientists doing weird scientist type of stuff that is above my pay grade. So they've been in school for like 8 years, but that's a different story. That's a different story. But yeah, universities are expensive, man. I mean, here's a good example, right? So the school I work at is a state college, right? Which a state college is supposed to be the cheapest form, aside from like a community college, the cheapest form of a 4-year degree, right? We've gotten to the point right now room and board is more than your degree, right? So tuition is about $11,000 a year where I'm at. Room and board, all those other fees, food, all that stuff is like $15,000. So it's now like $25,000 a year to pay for a state college. Back when I went to school, it was $12,000. That's why I went to a state college, because it was $12,000. There's another college, and this is a really good one around not too far from me, where it's about $60,000 a year. Now it's a private school, very, very good, but $60,000 a year. Not in total. Not like everything like after 4 years, per year. So you're coming out with $250,000 of debt. Yeah. So it's tough, right? It's tough, and it's a decision to make, because like, do you put yourself in what, $100,000 worth of debt? Or do you save that money and kind of, does not going into $100,000 worth of debt count as being $100,000 in the plus if you wouldn't go to school? It's a opportunity. It's a tough decision. It's a tough decision, and of course there are other aspects of college as well. Networking. There's the social aspect that is massive as well. It's a really tough decision to make these days. I'm glad I went in the time I had to go. I didn't have a choice, but I'm glad I went in the time where it was just the norm, where I didn't have to make a decision. I just went. I played sports as well, so if you want to play college sports, you got to be enrolled in school. So that was, I had to go no matter what. But I'm glad I wasn't like a normal person, kind of making that decision. It would have been a tough one. I don't know what I would have done. Do you go right into the workforce? Akil, would you say in your opinion it has shifted from when you went now? My opinion on college, Naomi? And there's not a lot in the market today, guys. That's why we can there's the euro dollar bat we've been tracking, but there's not too much. We can take our time doing this. Yes. And I still don't know where I stand on college. On one hand, here when I first graduated college, I thought it was the biggest waste of my time and money. Right? I wasn't in too much debt. And again, I told you the story. I used my graduate school debt to start my real estate business, so I look at that as a positive. I would not have been able to do that if I wasn't in graduate school. So I look at it. So that is a positive. I use it as a business opportunity. But in general, I felt like it was a wasted time, because I felt like I spent 4 years, and what I learned in college, I didn't really do anything with life with it, right? I didn't go your traditional route, obviously, of getting a job in my field. So I'm like, well, I could have done this without going to college, right? That was my first thought. I could have started trading 4 years ago and not went to college and done the same thing and been in less debt. So my original, for the longest time, I thought college was a complete waste. I'm like, this was a waste of time. It was a waste of 4 years in hindsight, or I guess 7 years with grad studies. But then I thought a little bit deeper, and I thought about a few things. So I thought about the social experience of college was big, right? I grew up in an area where there was 3 white people in my high school. 3. Now, I played a lot of sports, so I had a lot of different interactions in that aspect with people from different races and whatnot, and I guess economic standings. But it was a different experience going to college and being kind of, I wasn't from the hood, but I was right near the hood. It was a different experience going to college and experiencing just a different way of life. You get to see the world from a different perspective. It's not all, people say product of your environment. That's 100% real if you don't know anything else. And I told you my first day moving into college, I almost got into a fight because someone said hi to me. Like someone looked at me and said, hi, or like, what's up? And I was like, well, what's up? And I dropped my stuff. I'm ready to go because that's where I'm from. Like you don't talk to each other. Like if someone says, what's up and looks at you in the eye, that means let's go. Let's fight. Like, I don't know what you did, but we'll figure it out later. Let's have at it. So my first day in college was like that. Like, I'm ready to go. And then I realized like, well, people are just being friendly. That you can look at people and say, hi. How are you doing? Like I know this seems weird to some of you guys, but my mind never grasped that concept. Like again, where I'm from, and I had a linguistics teacher that did he did his PhD, what is it called? His dissertation, I guess, on it. He called it the Philly head nod, or the interaction that happens, or the lack of interaction that happens in many urban areas, specifically Philadelphia. And he did a whole report on it. I got a D in that class, but I loved it. And it was, again, and I'm sitting there like, yeah, this is me. Like I didn't understand like you can talk to people. So I grew a lot in being able to deal with different types of people, right? And I've spoken and mentored a lot of people from the Philadelphia area and urban areas that come into the school because it's a culture shock for many. And without going to college, I wouldn't be able to impact these people. Right. I had a conversation with a girl the other day she was getting upset because, she's bluntly honest and she thought everyone hated her. And she's like, I don't understand, like where I'm from, and we're from the same area where I'm from. This is how we talk, and people, take it for what it is. And like up here, they get mad at me and they question me, like, am I doing something wrong? And she was having this breakdown. And, I had to explain to her the balance of like, hey, we can't talk the same way here as we can back there. This is how they're going to interpret it. And just being aware of that, right? So some self-awareness. So that was important. And that helps now from a business perspective, because I have the ability to talk to, obviously I work with traders from 120 different countries. I have the ability to speak with people from London, from Africa, from Australia, right? All different people from all different economic standings, and, being able to relate and relay a message on that kind of platform is very helpful for me as a businessman. The same thing with my major. I didn't understand how my major worked. I didn't get anything from it. But when I started getting into trading education, when I started doing, putting together reports and doing presentations for clients back when I managed money, I realized that, wow, these were the skills that I learned in college, right? Public relations was my major. It's the science of communication. Learning that allowed me to make my presentations in a professional manner and set things up in a professional way, to put me in the position to potentially gain clients. So that helped as well. I didn't really understand that till after the fact, because they're like, well, how'd you do that? I'm like, well, you just do it. And I'm like, well, I actually learned this. Same thing with YouTube videos and stuff like that. So that was helpful. And then of course I met my wife in college. If I didn't go to college, I wouldn't have met her. 2 beautiful kids, wouldn't have had those kids. I wouldn't be coaching track and being able to give back now. So I look at it, college was definitely worth it. The pros outweigh the cons. And then again, the last part is starting my real estate business. I would not have been able to start my real estate business without going to college. I just wouldn't have had that opportunity. I shouldn't say that. Maybe I would have worked like a dog and saved up enough money, but I don't think I even would have been interested in real estate because it took the mentor that I met through my wife to really show me the importance of real estate. I had zero mind for real estate at all. So I don't live by any regrets, guys. I believe that everything happens for a reason. And I try not to question those reasons, either good or bad. Step backs are a chance to provide perspective. But I think it was worth it. Easy to say because things have turned out well for me. But I think it was worth it. I think it was worth it. I just think you don't realize it. You don't realize what you learn until or what you've experienced until well after the fact. Naomi says, why would you want to learn that if you had been socialized otherwise? Were you just skeptical? Or was that to someone else, Naomi? Is that me? Who is Akil Stokes? What was that? Was that my first podcast one, or was that someone else? Oh, was that my very first video? Gosh, that sucked. I gotta delete that thing. Oh man, don't watch those videos. Then it says no. When you said you took a class that taught you about, no, I didn't take a class that taught me about different perspectives. I just learned about different perspectives in college. I had a linguistics class. That's the study of language. I said my professor, he was the one that did his dissertation on the Philadelphia head nod, which was inviting. That was my favorite class of all college. I barely passed. It was horrible. I blame the professor, not me, of course. But the study of language is interesting, and languages across the board, and just that was probably one of my reading body languages. That was a very beneficial class because I was able to take that knowledge even when presenting to clients and really read body language and get an idea for how people are interacting to the words I'm saying. I can basically tell if someone is defensive or accepting or agreeing, disagreeing while I'm doing my presentation. And I can shift, I can shift the narrative based on that. So that was an interesting class. But yeah, just the 4 years in general, just from being out of where I was at and just a different environment changed things. And of course, being on sports, that helps as well. You're dealing with people from all over the place, man. I met people that are freaking brainiacs that, and met people that are from the slum of slums. So I think experience is good. It's always good to experience different people, different cultures and whatnot like that. It gives you perspective on yourself. So I think it was worth it. The pros outweigh the cons. The only cons is student debt. That's the only negative. Yeah. So real quick, what we also have here in pound dollar is a potential head and shoulders forming here on the 60. So if you're looking for a reason to get long, and pound dollar we talked about, right? Pound dollar being at the end of this channel, the bottom of this channel. So we talked about potential reasons to get long. This would be a reversal sign here. If we can get a head and shoulders down here, break the neckline, right? You can look for a move back to the top of the channel. We've been going back and forth as it is already. So you can look for a move back to the top of the channel. Last is Euro Swiss has one in the 60 as well, but we could look at that next. Let's go down to the 15-minute charts here. Nick says, ooh, nice head and shoulders. You're going to have to keep an eye on that. Knees and toes. It's funny because I abandoned this pattern for so many years. This was one of the original patterns I liked trading, and I abandoned it for so many years. And then once coming back to it, probably about 4 years ago, I understood it in a different light. I understood how it fits into the overall. I always knew the pattern, but I knew it as simply a pattern. Like I knew it as like, hey, Gartley, Cypher, Head and Shoulders. I knew it on its own, but I never really, cause I didn't take the chance to really care or learn about price action when I first got started. It was more just like just memorizing stuff. So it's like, hey, this is called a Harami. And I would just take an index card and I'd memorize it and I'd look for it on the chart thinking it would work that way. So the power didn't really come until I had an overall view of the market and I realized how it fit, right? Harambe. right? It's kind of like a player on a team where it's like once you kind of know your role on the team, you're really really good at it. Think about your best sports team. Like once you kind of understand your role, like okay, like I'm not the shooter here. I'm not the superstar. Like my job is to play defense and do this. And once you kind of know that role, you fit comfortably into the mold instead of running around not knowing what you're supposed to do. Story of my basketball career. The former. Knowing your role, not the running around not knowing what you're supposed to do. Aside from that time Kobe Bryant dunked on me, that was that kind of knocked me out of my OODA loop. Well, he didn't really dunk on me. I moved out the way, but I tell people he dunked on me. Really, I moved out the way as he yelled, "Kobe." But once he became famous, then I got dunked on. Yeah, dunked on. Hung on the rim, right? Dirty gym shorts just in my face. Yep, yeah, yeah, yep. George, I definitely posterized some people. I had the opportunity to dunk. I only had the opportunity to dunk once in a game, and I choked, and I got benched because of it. I was so scared. Yep. I caught a steal. Right. I was a really good defender. I caught a steal, and I was on a fast break by myself. We were down by like 20 points, and I was an athlete, guys. So I went down. I took it up. I was like 2 feet above the rim. I couldn't palm the ball, so I'm kind of curling it in my arm. I was like 2 feet above the rim. We're at home, we're playing, and I'm about to throw this down, right? Crowd's about to go wild, and by I'm like 10 people in the stands, right? And I'm about to throw it down, right? Everything slows down, and I just curl it in for a little finger roll, and the whole crowd gets deflated, like oh, and then the coach benches me. He's like, "That was a chance to change momentum." And you didn't. Get back on the bench. I'm like, okay, man. Everyone was. I'd never seen so many people disappointed over a made basket. Like I'm telling you, I was like, I can jump and run. So I was like at the top of the box with this ball. Like I was about to break this rim. And did the game before someone actually broke the rim. Or it might have been that same game. Later he broke the rim. Keith Shanks. And I got scared. I got scared, man. I'm like, what if I brick it? What if it bounces off? What if I miss? And I just laid it in. Yeah, and I just went right to the bench. And that's when my basketball career ended. Let's try baseball. So potential head and shoulders here. George said he broke 2 rims. They did the same thing to my friend George. They made him pay for the rim. And he's broke. So they weren't getting anything. But they tried to make him pay for the rim, the basket. I'm like, you should invest in some better baskets. Now, if you're really fly, what you do is you dunk, you break the rim, and you start whipping out cash and just leave it on the court. There you go. Go buy a new one. That's what I would do. But anyway, so potential head and shoulders here. That's definitely an opportunity to take advantage of this trade. There is a small. Well, no, it's over now. There was a smaller advanced pattern formation here on the 5 minute. Again, wouldn't have done you much justice. But any questions on pound dollar? A long pound dollar analysis since we got on. Naomi wanted to ask about my school experiences and how I racked up so much debt for so little return. Next time you go to court, you get robbed. Yeah, that too. That was a real fear. That's why you always keep your big bills and your small bills in 2 different pockets. Learn that growing up. Look, man, all I got is these ones, man. Go ahead, take it, man. Just get out of here. That's all I got. Like, haha, Kill, you got robbed. Yeah, but he didn't get the 20s. That's what we used to do. He didn't get the 20s. 20s were in the back pocket. I just gave him the ones. All right, let's go to Euro Swiss first. enough about my days of being mugged in the streets. That was another fun experience. Well, it wasn't fun at the time. But in hindsight, take these pesos. Money was in my shoes. Yeah, that's even better. I didn't even think about that. That's even better. No one told me. No one schooled me on that. No one told me. That would have been a better thing because they never checked the shoes. All of our muggers were stupid, man. So they just, they believed you. Look, man, it's got these $7, man. Just take it, man. All right. Next time, young boy. Yeah, but if you have good shoes, though. People get killed for like Jordan and stuff. That's why I never wore. Well, I never wanted those things anyway. But yeah, people get shot and stuff for sneaks. But the type of sneaks I wore, you weren't trying to take my sneaks. Nobody wanted those. I had the fake ones. I had the fake sneaks, man. I had to pay less McGregor's. I had the sneaks where the Nike symbol was upside down, and you gotta tell people it's a new brand. That's the new one. It ain't come out yet, man. You don't know nothing about this. They say Ike. Yeah, good old Ikes. All right, so Euro Swiss on the daily. Coming down to test previous structure. We were actually at a lower close, below previous structure support. But we did come back up and rally into that level. You can see a head and shoulders start to form right here. And again, that would make sense at this point in the market, right? Why would that make sense at this point in the market? What do you guys say? Gamecast. British days, yeah, British days. Yeah, because we've head and shoulders. It's important, and for you guys that took the course, you understand this. Head and shoulders are a classic reversal pattern. They come at the end of a directional move. So we've had a directional move down here. We didn't get the traditional kind of, I guess, just V bottom or double bottom. But this is an area where you wouldn't be shocked to look for a potential reversal. Now, at the same time, you could also look for a trend continuation, right? You have the lower close, and this is why it's going to be tough to be both. You have the lower close below structure, and then you have this as being a pullback. So at this point, you just don't know, and that's one of the reasons I'm not a big fan unless it's a very aggressive opportunity to buy it at the shoulder, because at this point we don't know whether this is going to be a continuation or whether we're only going to make it this low and reverse back up. And that's why we want to be predictive in our analysis, reactive in our execution. So know what we're looking for, know what should happen if we're right, and then wait for it. Oh, Gabby, you missed all the fun stuff, Gabby. Oh, man. Luckily, it's recorded. Yeah. We had a good conversation about back in the days. Back in the days where people had waves. I didn't have waves. So let's get on to a lower time frame here on Euro Swiss 240. Yep, fake shoes, money in your shoes, broken basketball courts, Philly head nod, fighting in college, toaster strudels. Good stuff. The good stuff. So here on the 4 hour, again, you can get a better sense of this potential head and shoulders. Now, if you are someone, we did this a few weeks ago with the Euro Yen, if you are someone that is looking to potentially take advantage of a right shoulder trade, this is not a bad opportunity because you have this right here. You basically have, kind of hard to see. Let me just draw it in right here. You have a structure shelf right inside here, right? Can you guys see that? You have previous structure support, turn resistance, turn resistance, turn resistance, turn resistance, turn resistance, turn support right inside here. So you have a built-in safety net, right? And what I mean by that is if we look at the most recent move here, right, it may be hard for you guys to see, but I see this as being a very small outside return, right, a very small area of consolidation. So if you're looking for a move here for a right shoulder, I have a place where I would be comfortable putting stops below. And again, that's a tough one to see. It's maybe a little bit easier for me because I have I've been trading for far too long now. But I have a built-in place where I can put stops, right? Because it's within this zone and it's below this small swing. So just like Euro Yen, if you wait for price action to come down to this level, you get your reason for entry. You can set up a trade where you have a stop loss that looks like this. And again, who knows where you enter at. And you have a potential reward, even if you're playing conservatively back up to a retest of the neckline, you have a reward that looks like that. And of course, your secondary reward can be an extension for the bigger head and shoulders pattern. So this isn't a bad opportunity, in my opinion. It looks like it's going to be a 50% in there as well. If I can actually find the low of this candle here. Yeah, 50% retracement would be right in there as well. And anything else you guys see? Anything else you notice? Yeah, the presence of an even-handled number. 112 was going to be right in here. Room 112, where the players dwell. Right in here. So you can build a case for entry. The further we dip down, you may get that RSI. You already have some hidden divergence on the RSI. You may get that RSI dipping under the 20. You get that dip in that curve back up, you're in good business. Do any of you guys use the stochastics? Way back. Okay, well, you can do something similar with the RSI too. We don't talk about it too much because I don't personally use it, but I'm familiar with the stochastics. That used to be one of my indicators of choice. So we know that the RSI is a strength indicator, right? It's a momentum indicator. When price action dips below here, right, that tells us that there must be a reversal, right? No, it doesn't tell us that there must be a reversal, right? It tells us that there's a massive amount of strength, right? In fact, it tells us the exact opposite. There is so much strength that the market has pushed below that 20 level, right? Now, using common sense, we can say, okay, well, what goes up eventually must come down, right? You throw a ball as far as you can in the air, right? It takes a lot of strength to get into the air, but eventually what happens? Eventually there's going to be a little bit of relief. Eventually it's going to start curving down. So that's how we interpret the RSI. The thing is, when we throw that ball in the air, we don't know when, right? We have no idea when it's going to reverse. So we're anticipating it. So one thing that you can use in the RSI, and I used to use this in the stochastics a lot, is you can look for the hook. Cool breeze, right? Watch for the hook. Ooh, there's one. Not many of you guys will know that, right? So you wait for the RSI to go overbought or oversold in this case, and then wait for that hook back above. And similar to the stochastics where you would have the K and the D crossing, one hooking above the other, you can look for that hook. Now it doesn't give you, it gives you a I guess kind of like a 2618. It gives you a slower entry, if that's the right word. It gives you a later entry, but it could perhaps provide more confirmation. And here's a good example right here. We saw it up here, right? RSI comes up, we hook below, right? We don't necessarily see the reversal. You have a couple red candles here, right? You hook below, you come back up for a retest, and then you cross back down, basically like your favorable excursion trade, right? Where you cross back below this line right here, and then we start diving lower. Now, the key is you want to add that. I wouldn't trade an indicator by itself, but you want to add that with something else. You want to add that hook feature or that double top on the RSI and break below feature, right? Looking for a lower low, lower close, or a higher high, higher close. You want to add that with a candlestick formation. And I feel like perhaps we got too deep on that. But there's so many different ways you can use this RSI that we don't necessarily talk about because we're not really indicator based. But for you guys that really like it and dig into it, there's some really cool things you can do with it. I'm sorry, yeah. So I mean, this is basically, if you can see this is basically playing the change of trend. I know you guys don't care, but this is a double top on RSI, right? Double top, and this is your breaker structure right there. Right? This is your market coming up above 80, retracing, trying to extend. We do extend barely here, but then we come back down and create a lower low. Basically a trend rotation on the RSI. Right? And that comes right at this level right here, right before we start to see this reversal. Now again, I would pair this with something. I wouldn't do it outright. I would pair. I mean, I guess if you're aggressive, you can use like a sell stop. I'm more conservative. I don't use this, so I would pair it with like a lower low, lower close on your price chart as well. Just because price is always going to trump indicator. But as an aggressive trader, maybe you see something like this. Let's see if we can go one bar by bar. So this would be the bar that breaks below, right? You see something like this, you put a sell stop right underneath this order. And if we see momentum, right? If we see momentum in that direction, right? Obviously your sell stop below, your buy stop above. If you see continued momentum in that movement, then you're filled as the market works its way down. How many of you guys did I just lose doing that? Everyone? Sorry. I get nerdy with this stuff, man. There's so much you can do. But just forget all of that then. Just forget all of it. Forget I said any of that stuff. But for you guys that are dug into the RSI and you love it as an indicator, I would say this. Once you've mastered, especially if you're doing a single strategy, and if you're going to use the RSI and nothing else, I would invest some time just learning the different nuances of it. I would want to learn everything I can about the single indicator I use. I think it just gives you more information. I spoke to a trader. I had a question this morning. It's funny. I was thinking about writing. I started 4 books and never completed any of them. But I was thinking about writing a book of like the 50 dumbest questions I've heard in trading. I feel like that would be entertaining, but I also don't want it to be offensive, but I also don't really care. So I'm going to start capturing dumb questions I get, because I got a dumb one over the weekend. And it takes a lot for me to say there's a dumb question. Typically there's no like dumb questions, but there are some dumb questions. I started 4 Naomi. I've never finished it. I never finished any of them. But a question this morning was, again, what are the best settings for the stochastics and the MACD? And I hate those questions because there's no best settings. It's all about what do you want your indicators to measure. And then once you understand what you want them to measure, setting them so that they measure what you want them to measure, right? Why? Let me ask you guys this, right? How many of you guys use the RSI? Okay. How many of you guys use the settings that me and Jason use? We use a 7-period RSI. All right. So the default is what, a 14 period, right? 14 is the default, right? You guys use a 7, okay? Or if you use a 7, why do you use a 7 versus a 14? Why would you use why on the range bar charts, why would you use a 5 versus a 14? And it's okay to say I copied you in the beginning. Yeah, I mean, that's a fine answer. That's why I start using the 7 as well. But the fact is, you want to understand why you're doing it, right? So using a 7 versus a 14, right? The RSI measures right? The period that you set it to, 14.7, that measures the previous 14 candles, or if it's 7, the previous 7 candles. If it's 5, the previous 5 candles or whatnot. That's where the measurement, the calculation is being made from, right? So knowing that if I'm using a 7 versus a 14, a 7 is giving me a more recent view of the action in the market. Does that make sense? I'm looking at the last 7 days versus the last 14 days, meaning there's kind of a recency bias. What's happening closer to present time is affecting my decision making more than what happened 2 weeks ago, right? Oh yeah, and there's nothing fine. I started using a 7 because Jason Stapleton used a 7. Oh yeah, nothing wrong with that at all. Or there's nothing wrong with using a default just because that's what it is. But the point is, if you're going to start, when you're looking at the best, if you want to say, hey, what is the best, right? It's important that you know what you want to get out of it, right? I want to, on the range bar charts, I use a 5-period RSI, right? Because I want to get quicker signals. So I'm making my RSI faster or more recent because I want quicker signals. I want more overbought and oversold signals. I want a look, right? I want a look of what price is doing recently. That weighs more than the past. Now there's pros and cons. Obviously, the more signals you get, the more false signals you get, right? That's the weighing it out part. But the fact is, I know what I want. I know what I want from the market, and I'm adjusting my indicator to give me what I want. Make sense? I don't know why I'm feeling, just a heads up, I'm feeling really, really sick right now. Getting that feeling like I'm about to throw up. So if I just exit for some reason, that is why. I'm not sure why. I'm getting that moist feeling in the cheeks. So just a heads up in case that happens. So the fact is, there's no best. You just want to know, if you're going to make adjustments to something, know what you're making, know why you're making those adjustments, and have a reason for them. That way they best fit what you're looking to do, right? If you're a very, very conservative trader, the best settings are going to be a slower RSI, because you're going to get less signals, less false signals. So when you get that real signal, it's going to be real. And same thing with 80-20, right? The default is 70-30 for the RSI. I want 80-20 because I want extreme levels of overboughtness and extreme levels of oversoldness, right? I want to measure overbought and oversold by kind of at the very ends versus 70 and 30, which are still kind of in the middle somewhere. So you got to know what you're getting into. So Euro Swiss, let's go down to the 240 here. Again, you can see the head and shoulders forming. I do think is a potential opportunity where you can get involved at the right shoulder. So that's what I would set up. Here's a look on the 60. There's actually another head and shoulders within this one. A bullish head and shoulders at the neckline of the potential, a bearish head and shoulders at the neckline of the potential bullish head and shoulders. And you can see us starting to, we had a big high momentum candle come down, starting to lose momentum as we come into this potential area. So if you're someone that's looking to position themselves here, I would start looking to see how you can get involved. Whether it's a minute-based chart, whether it's a range bar chart, start asking yourself the question, what do I need to happen at this level for me to get involved in a potential head and shoulders trade? Any questions on Euro Swiss? We're somehow we've gone over an hour already, most of me talking, but good, because we don't have a lot on the radar, so I'm actually very happy with that. It's going to make today very worthwhile. But any questions before we take our first break? All right. I'll see you guys. Wait. Back to work. Oh, yeah. All right. See you guys in 13 minutes. All right, guys. I'm back. So far today, good session. Some good rants about education and whatnot. Teased you guys with a book called the 50 Dumbest Things I've Heard. Here's another thing. right? For you guys that are going to be out there trying to get clients and whatnot, I want to read you this conversation real quick I had this morning. Wavy emoji. My response, hi. Hey friend, how are you doing? Me, I'm doing well. That's nice. I'm blank from California. And you? Pennsylvania. And here it comes. I would love to introduce you to Forex trading, a very lucrative business, which would profit a lot for you. Or have you heard about Forex trading before now? Yeah. Do your research. Nothing wrong with reaching out to people. But if you're going to do it on, say, like Facebook or something like that, just do your research. It's right in the profile. Do your research. That way you can kind of plan your attack if you want to use those terms. People just if you're gonna do something, and I don't mind I don't mind reaching out to people like that. I don't really mind people that do that, where it's like, hey, they send you a random message or whatever like that. I mean, that's just business. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But just do it like a professional. Just like I told you guys the other day, where that guy that reached out to me and said, no, I'm not interested. Blah, blah. And then he like yelled at me. And I'm like, well, maybe I'm not interested, but I could have potentially forwarded you to a lot of people that were. And now you've just ruined that connection. Like I know a lot of people, maybe someone else I know is interested. And when they say something, I'm like, oh, you know what? Not for me, but Naomi was thinking about it. So I'll shoot her your contact info. And now you have a client. But now you've burnt all your bridges. So you gotta be smart in business, guys. Be smart. All right, so let's go to Euro dollar next. We do have that bat pattern setting up on Euro. We'll quickly take a look at the higher time frames, and we'll go down to the 60 minute, which it's on. Naomi says, cause they're dumb, or they message it to everyone. Yeah, they're just, yeah. Again, I have nothing against it, man. Just be smart. Right? Be smart. Like I've never operated in like the internet dating scene, so I don't know how that is. But like I would suppose if you meet someone and you're going on your first date, and perhaps you want to do a little online stalking, because that's what people do, right? You might want to find out like, what type of food do they like to eat? Right? You guys ever heard of Fogo de Chao? Brazilian steakhouse, where they serve you endless meat on a stick. You get a little green. You get a little like coaster. It's red and it's green. If it's green, it means keep serving me. If it's red, it means stop. And they just literally come around with delicious meat on a stick, and they come to your table and they tell you what it is, and then they take out this sword and they slice it onto your plate. And the game is to finish the meat before the next person comes around. And it's just, oh my gosh. Takes 10 years off your life, but you ain't living life. But anyway, if you meet someone on a date, if you meet someone and you're going on your first date, right? Do a little market research on them as well. Because guess what? Maybe you check out their profile page and you see that like they're posting all this vegan and vegetarian stuff, right? Probably don't want to take them to Fogo de Chao. You probably don't want to take them to the place where a cow is being slaughtered in front of your face, right onto your plate. Do your research. Do your research. Nick says, she says vegan. I say swipe left. And I'm guessing that's the bad way. Again, I know nothing about this. What's it called? Timber? This Timber app? Timber? Nintendo? But yeah, same difference there. Same difference. You're likely to highly offend. Okay, so euro dollar here on the daily. But man, was Twitter. See, look, I never really cared about people. I guess that's why I'm like I told my wife this the other day. Like I I was so focused on like myself and like what I had to do, like business and sports. Like I did not care about like Nothing got any attention. Like, I did not care about any of that stuff. It was just like, look, that just adds to my to-do list. Like, girlfriends, that just adds to my to-do list. I'd rather spend that time in the gym or spend that time growing a business. Very, very blind. It was weird. Yet it made me more attractive, believe it or not. Girls like what they can't have. I guess guys are the same way. But I know, especially with girls, they like what they can't have. So it's like the fact that I gave no energy or no care for like any female out there just made them want me more. Like an exotic animal, I guess. US people are more normal. Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, last said my girlfriend liked me out of everyone because I never tried. That is me. Everyone else, like, it's everyone else is trying. It's normal, but there's just one person that just doesn't care, and you're like, he must be James Bond. Why doesn't he care? No, says someone says hi in the UK, people freak out. US, it seems like it isn't like that. It really depends on where you're at. There's a big difference between. I mean, we're so much bigger than you. There's a big difference between the South and the North in the U.S. I mean, as far as hospitality goes, in the West as well. Our country's so big though. It's so different depending where you go. It's completely different whether you're in the Pacific Northwest versus the Atlantic. I mean, like I said, in general, people think of the Northeast as being just mean, disrespectful, always in a rush. In general, people think of the South as being kind of Southern comfort, happy, laid back, just on my own time. It depends on where you're at. I'm sure it's the same thing in the UK. Depending on where you're at, it's going to be different. Typically, if you're anywhere near cities, like big cities, like big, more East Coast cities, people are more kind of get to the point, head down, do what I do. So it depends on where you're at. I know it's drastically different here in the U.S. North, South, East, West, Midwest. Like, I'm always in a rush. Like, I've been on the East Coast my whole life. I don't know what it's like to be kind of laid back and just go with the flow. It's like, come on, let's get this done right now, buddy. And people see that as being rude. So euro dollar here again, it starts with the same analysis from yesterday. We did have a higher high, higher close. We do have the sneaky little inside structure that we didn't break, so you want to pay attention to that. But we're looking for two things: a potential pullback trade and an anticipation of a move higher near that 114 level, or an advanced pattern formation, which we'll see down on the 240. And you can see here on the 240, a little clear on the 60, so we'll go straight there. Sorry, I'm still feeling kind of a little ill. So I'm trying to avoid any kind of like burps or anything, because you never know when it might be something else. But here's what we've been waiting on. Swing low to swing high, X to A to B, B to C, and a potential CD completion right down there. 112.62s. Again, you can look at this two ways. You could look at this as just a bat pattern, or you can look at this as an entry reason into a pullback trade and a potential move higher. Nick says, same here. I've been in London. Yeah, London. I would put London and New York as being the same. I think you would say the same thing for most big cities. Especially kind of like financial capitals and stuff like that. You get a lot of financial people there. And financial people act a certain way. No, it's fine. There's not much here. So, but yeah, euro dollar, we're getting there. So keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it. Getting there. May have some extra added confluence there from 127 from our C to our little retracement here. But keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it on your radar. Any questions on euro dollar? Any questions on euro dollar? Nope, nope, nope. There is the potential lower time frame. We go down to the 15. Maybe a potential short opportunity in anticipation of that move, right? We just cleared a previous structure low. So perhaps a pullback trade, right? We'll go to a range bar chart, probably give us the best look. But here in a 5 minute as well. Again, you can see price action coming down, holding support, coming back up, holding support, and then finally breaking below. You can look for a pullback trade, so a chance to trade it from this pullback down to that potential back completion. And again, heading over to a range bar chart may give you a little bit of a clearer view of that trade or of that opportunity. Or maybe it won't. Or maybe it won't. Let's just see where that bat's at again. That bat is at 126.18. So yeah, perhaps if you get a move back up into this level of consolidation, I mean, this isn't a bad move. Here are the lows right here. 112.85 down to 126.18. There's room and opportunity here, guys, for a intraday trade or a day trade. There's certainly room there. So yeah, that's something to put on your radar. Look for that pullback trade. Maybe you get that hidden divergence. Maybe you get that RSI swap. You look for a chance to get short. I'll keep this open. I'll keep this open for you. All right, let's head over to pound yen cipher. Let's go to Euro New Zealand. I have pullback trade on my radar. Euro New Zealand. And we'll kind of blow through the rest of these pairs pretty quickly now. Akil with the trombone. Oh, sorry about that. I thought I muted the mic. I apologize. Burp, burp. We can blow through these pairs like you blow through your nose. My bad. At least I muted it when I was talking crap about you guys. I always remember that. Like, guys, let me take a sneeze break real quick. This mother effing Nick. Tell you what, boy. And I come back. Nick, you're awesome. All right, so back on to two. Let's go to daily first here on Euro New Zealand. Did you guys hear that? What did I say? Nice. Now the question is, why is my mute button not working? That's the main thing, right? Because that's the click. Oh well. No more crap talking. All right, so going on Euro New Zealand here on the daily. Write this down real quick. Euro NZD. We're at 119. Let's just call it 120. We have a higher high. Higher close above previous structure. This is the one yesterday where we had a higher higher close, break and close above structure. And then we had that bearish that very bearish day where we had price action create a spike higher and close back down. Now, we only came about halfway to that previous candle, which isn't, despite the long tail to the upside on this candle, the fact that we were only able to retrace the previous candle by 50% or whatnot is actually a positive sign. So you can still look for a pullback trade here on a lower time frame. Profit taking may be a little bit difficult. It may not be as smooth as you would like, but you do have the higher high, higher close. You don't have any type of false breakout. So the pullback trade is still an opportunity here. And you can see here's what it looks like on the 4-hour chart, where we come up, we retrace back down, nice doji, followed by the higher high, higher close. Something you can look for is what? What will be a conservative way to get involved in this trade? Yeah, looking for a double bottom, perhaps price action coming back here, holding previous structure, and you looking for an opportunity to get involved in a double bottom and take a shot at a continuation up. Now, you must also be, this is a very shallow pullback, obviously, you must also be on alert for a potential complex pullback. So there is the chance, and there's always the chance, that price can maybe not create that double bottom, that price can rally back down, maybe to a 1-to-1 measured move, which may actually put you at the 71 even handle. Let's just take a look here and see. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Swing high to swing low. Copy and paste. Yep, and put you right there at 71 cent. See if there's any Fibonacci influence there as well. Swing high to swing low. I got a 1414. I don't really care for the 1414. I think I know why your mic. Well, it should be the same mic. It doesn't sound like a bathroom, does it? No. I mean, usually unless the webcam mic is picking up. Let me try it again. I'm going to say some more bad things about Nick. Ooh. Can you guys hear me now? Still. Mic check now. Now you can hear me, right? Yeah. Okay. It was picking up the other mic. It was picking up the webcam mic, but it didn't say it was. Does the mic sound different now? That's weird. Okay. Yeah. Maybe. But okay. All right, so it must have been picking up the webcam mic before. It says it was picking up my normal one. I asked earlier because usually the webcam mic sounds like a webcam mic, and this one sounds crisper. But you guys said usually you guys pointed out really, really quickly. So I guess I blame you guys. You guys are off this morning. That's weird, unless it was doing both. Did you guys just hear that? Ah, George is lying. You're lying. Okay, good. Now I can talk my crap. Yes. Perfect. Yes, I don't know. I know. Yeah, maybe maybe something happened during the break. Oh well, it happens. So yeah, so two options here. You could get a normal. You could get a double bottom. You could get a 26.18, I suppose. That'll be kind of hard. You could get a complex pullback as well here, but trend continuation opportunity here on Euro New Zealand. Something else that you guys can put on your radar. Let's blow through the rest. We've got Euro Yen here, which blew through our Gartley. Luckily, I was able to take target ones on this yesterday. Ended up being a good lesson on intuition. Latch says I'm short Euro New Zealand or Euro Yen. Latch. Euro Yen. So currently not too much of interest for me here. We've come down to retest our previous level of structure. We've wicked it. You could look inside if you want as well. This was the neckline of our head and shoulders. We've wicked it, and now we're just holding there, so not too much of that I'm interested there at that level. Let's move on to the pound yen. Pound yen has a potential cipher on it. Nick says pound yen pairs are dangerous to long this last month or two. Yeah, they are. Pound yen just missed on the bat. Just missed of the bat. Yep. Yeah. Anything that hurts the U.S. is going to help the pound or the yen. So keep that in. I mean, keep it in mind for what it's worth. I don't think you should dictate your trading, but keep it in mind. It's where the money's going to flock to whenever they need a safe haven. That isn't the dollar. So if we get scared of U.S. news, right, they're going to run away from the dollar, and money is going to go somewhere, and that next best place is going to be the yen. Then what? We'll be after that. The Swissy, which never made sense to me, but I think the Swissy would be next. So if both are in trouble, the Swissy. So potential bull cipher here on the pound yen. Missed the bat pattern. I also missed a short trade here. If you guys remember, this was a trade that I liked. Earlier in the week, we had this pullback happening on, if I go to the time frame I'm supposed to go, we had this pullback happening on the daily, and I tried to get short. Actually, I technically did get short on Tuesday, and then I realized that my risk reward wasn't 1-to-1, so I had to delete the trade. And now I'm looking at it like, come on. But rules are rules are rules. So we do have a bear cipher, bull cipher down here at 136.93. It's a relatively small one compared to typical yen pairs. 53 pips of potential profit, about 66 of potential loss there. So that should be on the radar. Nothing else structurally that really stands out for me on this pair, however. But you guys remember, this was the hours are still here. This is where I entered on Tuesday. Right here, lower low, lower close. And just because this wick was so high, because the ATR was so high, I was looking for targets right here. It just didn't work out. So I was a little upset with that. But at the end of the day, where were stops at? They're at 50s, right? So above this level. At the end of the day, it was a good trade. It was a good trade, or a good no trade, I should say, because it met the rules. Aside from cipher patterns, I am not allowed to take trades that have inverse risk rewards. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Like I said, in these situations, what you take pride in is your analysis. So I look at this and say, I didn't make any money off this, sure. But the analysis was correct, right? I called a point in the market that I thought we'd see a reverse, and my prediction, or reversal, my prediction was correct. So as a confidence boost, that could be big as well, even if you don't take advantage of the trade from a monetary perspective. Lat said, Ale did a nice CTS on this last week or something. Nice. Yep, small cipher as well. Avery, yep. Now, technically could be invalid, depending on your rules of if the X leg needs to be broken or not. We'll check that out. Just want to make sure this isn't even a smaller one. Nope. But let's go down to the 15. We can draw this cipher out. Good eye. And that cipher was right here. X to A to B, B to C. And your CD completion was right here at 137.61. So if you didn't have a chance to enter this, and it still makes sense to you, again, it's not invalid, or the risk reward isn't thrown off because of rolling targets, you can still look to get involved. Again, just keep in mind that originally you're looking at a target projection, which was right here. And now it's about 18 pips. And now it's going to be up here. So just keep that in mind when you're looking for your trade. But yeah, very good eye. Very, very, very good eye. All right, let's go to dollar yen next. Again, we're going to try and blow through these pairs just to say that we did. Nick says, I don't like those wicks to the downside on the last 5 candles of pound yen. No, sir, I don't like it. Dollar yen, nothing much you can do here on a dollar yen. So no need to waste too much time on this one. What would be interesting is if we get a break of this level right here, really this 108, 108.55 levels. I would, if we do that, I would anticipate a move back up to retest these highs. So that is something you can look out for later in the day, maybe perhaps tomorrow as well. A break, a violation of 108.55s and another move to about 108.75s. That could be something, but aside from that, there's not too much there. Canada. Canada was another one where we did such great analysis on this the other day. Do you guys remember? Yesterday? Such great analysis about projections and supply and demand and all this stuff. And then we found a reason to get involved and we're all set to take it. And then the market came up and we're like, it's going to happen. George was on the chat saying, watch out for that Canada bat. It's approaching completion. And double checking orders to make sure they're on there. And you're like, oh yeah, we're gonna do that high momentum bullish candle. We're gonna get one of those candles that wicks up. We're gonna hit that decompletion. It's gonna fill me. It's gonna reverse back down. And then we do this. We say, not so fast, my friend. And we rally down and hit target ones. Close. Now again, what can you do about it? I mean, this is the markets. This has been a strange year for me because this has happened a lot for me as far as missed opportunities, and maybe it's a recency bias. There's always missed opportunities in the market, but there are a few that really stand out to me this year. But it could also be the fact that I've taken less trades, so now it stands out even more because I'm looking at my P&L like, ooh, could have been so much better. But this is trading for you. I mean, this is gonna happen. It has happened. What can you do about it? What can you do about it? Aside from reset and look for the next opportunity, we know we have a bigger cipher on Canada. Maybe perhaps we have another cipher forming, or excuse me, well, I guess it could be a cipher as well, but another advanced pattern forming here as well. So we look at this. We say swing low to swing high, X to A to B coming to 62.5. We've technically made it to our C leg. So we could be setting up for a potential Gartley, another Gartley as well here on Canada if we were to rally down. So you can put that on the radar. That's about all you can do. A very strong candlestick combination here, by the way. Very strong 3-bar reversal. You can't complain about it because complaining makes money. Yeah. All right. Aussie dollar next. Three on the 240, 3 beautiful indecision candles, showing me that as we go down to the lower time frame, we're not going to see too much aside from consolidation. A level that stands out to me on where price would likely go if we were to rally higher is this level right here. So you can start putting that on your radar for if we were to break out to the upside, then that is where we would go to. Going up to the 60-minute, or down to the 60 minutes, excuse me. You can see the consolidation here. All right, boom, 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 boom. And you can start to see a little bit of a structure shelf right here. So if we can violate this level, we're likely to push up to that higher level. The problem with the Aussie dollar is that they're so close. We break that level. That level is 69.15s. That higher level is 69.30s. That's only about 15 pips of potential profit. So it's right on top of each other. So there's not too much you can do there. Last say you didn't like the initial double bottom here on the 60-minute. No. No. Not a bad level. I mean, but nothing that gave me any interest. No. Double bottom would have been right here at 69.06. So you're looking at this as a trading opportunity. Let's delete these lines. Look at this as a trading opportunity. Looking at an entry. Actually, it would have been a little bit, I guess, right here if you're able to catch this. Right here at about 69.05. Looking at this as a trading opportunity. You're looking at stops being right below the 69 even handle. About 68, let's say 68.97. So your risk reward is going to be pretty decent. You're looking at targets about right here, 69.25. So it's a decent risk reward. Let's go to the range bar chart. Let's go to a 5 range, not an 8 range. Oh no, 50-minute. Gosh. Now I got to go back. There we go. So here's a look on a 5 range chart. Pretty much same story you're getting on the 5-minute or 60-minute or 15. Just some consolidation. Questions on Aussie dollar? Let's go to New Zealand, NZD, USD. New Zealand dollar coming down to an inside level of structure. Again, another sleeping pair here. Yeah, I think we're about to head out too. Aussie, Canada. Just got to get through them just so I can say that I did. Gives me a comfort level to know that we went through all the pairs in my portfolio. Aussie, Canada. So we had a break and close below. Now we're retracing back up, right? So we have this break of previous structure support. We broke down. We're now coming back up, hoping that previous structure support can act as structure resistance. The one problem is, as a trend continuation trader, if we look at some perspective on the higher time frame, we're just not at a point where I'm personally interested in any trend continuation trades. I don't know why it's not letting me remove my stuff here. So daily perspective, you can see haven't violated previous structure there on the daily. Which makes it hard to shoot for a trend continuation here on the 60 because we're just not clear that structure. This is still kind of this retracement is the big wick that you saw. Now, if you're an aggressive trader and you want to make a move, you can certainly go for a short here. As long as you understand and you're comfortable with kind of the overall dynamics of the market. Understanding that we haven't broken structure to the downside, so it's a little bit more of a riskier situation here. Are there any other pairs that you guys would like to take a look at? There was nothing on my secondary list either here. Let me just double check here. Things do change. I'll tell you what will be interesting going back to dollar Canada. And this is, it's not your greatest situation here. But a higher high, higher close would be a good sign. Again, a little bit hard projecting profits on the way up because you've got this level that was penetrated. You've got an inside level as well. But a higher high, higher close after this type of move, after this big pin bar type candle, that should be a sign that we're likely to continue a little bit higher. You just got to keep in mind that some of this stuff is news-based as well. Euro Aussie, another news-based move last night. We talked about this for shorts. We said stay away. I hope you guys did. Although I did say stay away from longs and shorts. Boo, boo, boo. This is an interesting combo. It's like a bigger Aussie New Zealand. It's like a bigger 2618. Look at that. You've got your double bottom here. Even a smaller double bottom in there. And you got your rally up. Now the problem is we rallied up to where we would project price to go to. But then we came all the way down. Now we got a higher high, higher close right here as well. If this would have happened and we didn't rally to where I would think price would go to, this would be an excellent trading opportunity. Good times day trading, horrible live trading. That's how it be. Head and Shoulders went on oil. What was it? There was an oil tanker that was robbed the other day. Dennis says, do you have a rule on specific time to trade the 15-minute time frame? Yes. Yes, I do. I think if you're going to be a day trader, you should have specific rules of what days you trade and what hours you trade. Yes. I think that's very important for consistency because you don't want to be a trader that comes in Monday at 6 o'clock in the morning, but then Tuesday you sleep in and you don't get started until 10 o'clock. You're going to lack consistency in your trading, and therefore you're going to lack consistency in your results. So yeah, we talk about it in the trade plan development part of the course with routines and whatnot. But yeah, you need specific days of the week and specific hours in which you should be trading those lower time frames. It also helps with not becoming a slave to your chart. So you're not looking at the 15-minute chart at 8 o'clock at night hunting for opportunities because the morning session was bad and now you need to get revenge. It kind of treat your trading like your business where, you wouldn't go into work after your shift is done, would you? Probably not, no. Trading should be the same way. Trade the hours you're supposed to trade. Yep, stay away the hours you're supposed to stay away. At least from active trading. Speaking of going into work, I think I'm going to do that today. I think I'm going to go to the other office today, get some peace, get some new perspective. Get some new perspective. Get away from the home office. The gift and the curse of working at home. Go to the other office. And then I might go to the other office. Last year, I had 3 offices last year for no reason. Well, for reason, obviously, but 3 offices. Seems like a waste. All right. Anything else, guys, before we head out? I need to figure out what I ate that is making my stomach hurt. Booked my holiday today, or as we call it here in the States, vacation. Watch when I'm away. My live trading results gives like 20% a week. Yep, that's how it is. That's how it is. Remember, last time I went on a vacation really was, aside from the London trip last year, I was in the middle of a big trade. I remember soon I was flipping out on the plane because I couldn't check the quotes. As soon as we got to the hotel, the wife went to take a shower. As soon as she did that, popped open the laptop, had to check the pound dollar. Down in Puerto Rico, and I'm like, come on, baby, come on, baby, come on, baby. I know I promised no trading on the trip, but come on, move. It was this long swing trade I was in for like weeks. Had to check it. I wasn't actively trading. I was just checking on it, right? There's lots of money on the line. Do you ever take an actual break from the charts, Akil? All the time, yeah. Like you mean like from like staring at my charts or like from trading? Because I'm not in front of the charts at all. I mean, my charting time consists of this now at this point in my career. Aside from like answering questions for you guys, it's it's about a half an hour in the morning of top-down analysis. It's the live room here. It's about maybe a half an hour at night for trade review slash nightly analysis. That's about it. Yeah, so I spend very, very little time in front of the charts from a trading perspective. I just don't take vacations now. I just don't take vacations. But yeah, but a lot of my time is spent in front of the charts at all. I prefer to. I mean, there's not much I need to be in front of the charts for, to be honest with you. I kind of know exactly what's going on in the market. Break from trading. Whenever we shut down from whenever we shut down for the year, which is usually like a week or so before Christmas. But that's because of that's from a teacher's perspective. If I weren't teaching, I wouldn't trade after Thanksgiving at all. I would shut down end of November. I'd be done for the year. If it weren't for teaching and running live rooms, there's no point in trading after Thanksgiving. So last week of November, whenever Thanksgiving is, 2 weeks before November, I'd be done for the year, and I'd have a full 6 weeks off, 7 weeks off. There's just no point. I mean, it's the end of the year. There's just nothing, unless there's some type of news event or something that's going on. There's really no point of trading after Thanksgiving. The markets are just not doing much. No one's, again, unless we're in a state where like the U.S. is hiking interest rates. There's just nothing going on. The markets are usually pretty bland around that time. It's the end of the year. No one wants to do anything stupid and mess up their balance sheet before before the new year. They got to get it out to customers and say, hey, this is how much we made. You maybe see some liquidation of positions, but yeah, there's not too much happening. Yeah. So yeah, I would take off then. I wouldn't day trade during the summer at all. I would just swing trade during the summer. But I mean, again, I would also day trade a different way if I weren't running the live rooms. Summer is June to September. Sell in May and go away. June to September is the summer. So June, July, August. Yeah. That's the saying. Sell in May, go away. But also keep in perspective, my day trading would be a lot different than what you see here in the live room. It would be strictly the way I taught it in the day trading course. So I would be able to come in each day and know right away if there's something that needs to be on my radar or not. And I can lock into it. So I would come in each morning. I would do my market scan. And most of the time, there'd be nothing on the radar. Of like today, there's nothing of relevance on the radar that I would take in that form of day trading. So I would just be like, nope, not today. But say the market makes a move over the weekend and something sets up on the euro dollar where we perhaps have a juicy opportunity on the radar. I would see that during my top down analysis in the morning, and then I would commit my 2 or 3 hours to kind of being aware of what's going on. Yeah, I'm expecting I'm expecting a faster summer. I'm expecting a faster summer. Yeah. I'm expecting a faster summer, so we'll see. We'll see if it happens or not. It wouldn't shock me. Are you shocked by how little time I spend in front of the charts, Naomi, or how much time I would take off if I weren't teaching? Oh no. Yep. I got into trading not to be a slave to my charts. Yeah. Oh no, I just don't take vacations. No, I just don't take vacations. One day I will. Just not at this point in my life. There's too much that needs to be done. Too much that needs to be done. Again, I did a podcast on this. What, I don't know if it was last year, but yeah, I'm dedicating this part of my life to working as hard as possible. Therefore, I do not have to work at all in the next scene of my life, or as much. So, but I've never been a big vacation person anyway. My attention span is too short. I get bored very quickly, and I'm a workaholic. So if I can't go a day without working or doing something work related, I'll flip out. So very 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 hard for me. So we'll go on vacations, and it's just very very difficult for me to be in a spot for that long without being productive. So I give myself like 3 days. I give myself 3 days. I can do 3 days. That's my ideal vacation. I can do 3 days. And after 3 days, that's when it's like, man, I got to be doing something, man. I got to be doing something. So 3 days is about it. 3 days. But what happens? Yeah, if I'll do stuff like this. Like, I mean, I've taken vacation before where I would write my book. So I would do stuff like that. So I'd be on vacation, I'd be on the beach, and I'd be writing my book. So that counts as work for me because I'm being productive. So, but yeah, it's not a big vacation, dude. Not a big vacation, dude. More small, and I travel so much that like I just don't want to travel is not enjoyable for me anymore. You guys, you do not. I am on the road. How many weeks are there in a year? 52 weeks. Right? I would say I'm probably on the road about 36 of those 52 weeks throughout the year. So I have a different me getting away is just being at home and sitting on the couch. Just because I'm on the road so much that I don't really enjoy traveling anymore. Now, if I ever get that private jet, that's a different story. Because then you don't got to play the airport game. The private jet's a different story. You walk in 10 minutes before. That's a different story. But yeah, I'm just traveled so much. I'm just not. It's not the same at this point. Not the same. The goal is to spend time with family. Yeah, I'm with my family all the time. So it's different situation. Different situation. So we'll see. Anyway, let's close down shop for the day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. No, I won't. Today's Thursday, right? I'll see you guys Monday. Until next time, plan your trade your plan. Take care.